In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to create an Azure SQL Managed Instance using the Azure Portal. By the end of this tutorial, you'll be well versed in the process of setting up a robust database environment tailored to your needs. First things first, you'll need to sign in to the Azure Portal. Once you're logged in, you'll see a pane on the left side of the screen. Here, you'll want to click on Create a Resource. In the search bar provided, type in SQL Managed Instance. Alternatively, you can find it under the Databases category by selecting SQL Managed Instances. Once you've located it, click on Create, or you might see an option to +Add to begin the creation process. Now, let's focus on the Basics tab. This is where you'll input some key details for your instance. Start by selecting your Azure subscription from the drop-down menu. Next, you'll need to decide on a resource group. You can either select from existing groups or create a new one if your current options don't suit your needs. This helps in organizing your resources efficiently. Moving on, come up with a unique name for your managed instance, something that clearly identifies its purpose. Choose a region, which is essentially the data center location where your instance will be deployed. Lastly, on this tab, set your administrator login and password. This is vital for accessing and managing your instance, so jot those details down for safekeeping. Once the basics are set, it's time to handle networking. You'll select a virtual network and subnet. It's important that this subnet is delegated specifically to Microsoft SQL Managed Instances. Then, decide on the connection type. The default setting often restricts to a private endpoint, which is more secure for many use cases. However, if you require a public endpoint, you'll need to configure Allow Access from settings, deciding whether to allow access from Azure services, the Internet, or opting for none. In production settings, a private endpoint with no external access is typically recommended for security. Next, the Security tab awaits. Here, you can configure identity settings if necessary, whether opting for user-assigned or system-assigned managed identity, depending on your architecture. For those just getting started, leaving other security settings at their defaults is completely fine. In the Additional Settings tab, you'll have the chance to specify any non-default values for collation or time zone according to your needs. Additionally, consider setting up tags to facilitate cost tracking or environmental classification. With all these settings configured to your liking, click on Review plus Create. At this stage, the Azure Portal will validate your configuration. Once everything checks out, hit Create to initiate the deployment. Do note that the provisioning process can vary in duration, taking anywhere from a few minutes to over an hour depending on your selected region and resources. After you've clicked Create, you can conveniently monitor the deployment's progress through the notifications icon on the portal. Once the deployment is complete, navigate to your resource group and select your managed instance. Here, you'll find essential connection details like the host name under the Overview section. Congratulations! You've now set up an Azure SQL Managed Instance.